For the first time in history, a team threw a relegation parade in England, and the Madrid derby goes the way of Los Blancos.
In Italy, the league leaders are giving every opportunity to be overtaken. 8 weeks left and anything can happen. And in Germany, the top and bottom are pretty much decided, but who will join the relegation and the Champions League zones with them? We will find out all this and more on episode 124 of the No Business Soccer Podcast News. Kick us off.
Let's dig in. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast, the special Tuesday edition. Wait, it'll be Wednesday for them. Anyway, whatever. You know what it is. I'm your host, Snooze, and we got the full fam here today. We got Brainiac, J-Fam in the back. We got Danny P on the ones and twos, and everybody is here to hear about the latest and greatest whiskey. I don't know what he's drinking. Anyway, Hype Man Vic, what you sipping on, dog?
Well, today I have a poor choice, and it's not just it's a play on words because this is an $18 bottle, but it's absolutely amazing. It's a Benchmark foolproof. It's basically Buffalo Trace, really young. And it's also, since $18, like if you're poor, you know, and also you got to have a pour of it. So I already poured it. I should have waited for that. Damn. Oh, well. But while I take a drink of this, it's just really good. You get a lot of cherry in there, not stewed cherries, not old enough for stewed cherries. Sorry, J-Fam, but you get a lot of cherry and a lot of vanilla, a lot of oak. It's absolutely amazing. While I take a sip of this, you already see the little logo going. Like and subscribe is the best way to help out the channel and say, hey, maybe these guys are pretty cool to talk to every once in a while. And definitely lets the algorithm know to tune in. Cheers. Ooh, I hate the
that was a nice clink today. Very nice clink. Question though, how young do you like them?
I think this is anywhere from like 2 to 6 years. So yeah, that's a pretty decent whiskey. It's enough to make it, you know, a bourbon. But okay. I like. Actually, I'm not even gonna give you that sound bit. I like it whiskey whenever it's aged around 10 to 12 years. That's pretty like a good spot. Good spot.
All right. Well,
going crazy.
You have your Austin FC stuff. Are we going to it? We didn't even discuss.
We are.
Okay, well then let's do it. Let's go Austin, Texas. Boots on the ground for the Austin FC Minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this past weekend, Austin FC played the top team in the league. That was LAFC. And we were able to pick up a point with a 0-0 draw and 0-0. I know we don't really talk about those here on the No Business Soccer Podcast, but I got to say, Austin actually looked like the better team. They won possession. They had pretty incredible defensive plays that was punctuated by an incredible tackle on the breakaway Son, our favorite Son. He in the 86th minute by Brandon Hines-Ike. Man, that made headlines. It was everywhere on Austin FC social medias. And yeah, it was definitely the best way to punctuate a game like that. But we also only one ball hit the back of the net, and it was our goal, but it got called back due to Ilie Sanchez being in an offside position, and he basically just obstructed the goalie, which sucks because that happened to Liverpool a couple of times too. So yeah, they were asking about him. Like, trust me, I exactly know what's going on. And shut up, Snooze. All in all, we look promising. I can't wait to get the core of the team back. That is Danny Pereira, Owen Wolf, Brandon Vasquez, and Jaden Nelson, since Jaden Nelson was out and he sat due to a lower back issue. But yeah, we had a great match, and now we wait until April 4th because of the international break to play again. So hopefully we get some people back from injury, but we go from Son and Boanga to Lionel Messi into Inter Miami, and it should be Inter Miami's first game at their new stadium. I don't know if that's going to be ready. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen pictures. Like the field's not even down yet. They're still like
I don't know if that happens in 2 weeks. Unless they're laying. Yeah, I mean, even if they lay anyway. Yeah, it's probably not.
We'll be watching that, and we will definitely update you again on the next Austin FC Minute. But that's what we have right now.
Putting you on the spot. Is anyone from Austin going to an international team this break?
Yeah,
just
Of course, Alexander Svatak is already made it with the Ukrainian team. I don't know exactly who they play, but Facundo Torres went to Uruguay's team. Mirto Uzuni, who had the best game in an Austin FC kit during LAFC, is going to play for Albania. We have Micah Burton, who's going to play with the under-19 U.S. men's team. And we have, one more going to play with the under-17 team. I forgot who it was. So he's on our Austin FC 2 squad. And then I believe that's it. That should be it. Yeah. There might be one or two more that I'm forgetting. But yeah, we do have some international players.
Is Pereira going? Yes, but he's injured, right?
He's injured. So he didn't go. Okay. Yeah. And also, honestly, Jaden Nelson should be playing with the Canadian team. But the Canadian coach actually said that their full squad, they're not going to play this round. They're going to sit off on a couple because there's a couple of injuries also. So they're doing a more developmental squad for this round. So Jaden Nelson also, that's also why he sat, is because he probably could go, but they're not going to let him play, and he's not going to get called to the Canadian team this round.
Okay. Well, there you go. If you're looking out for your Austin FC players abroad, there you go. Sounds like we have some pretty good games. Well, it's a Tuesday, but it's a Monday show. So we're doing a European reach around or a European wrap up, whichever you prefer to call it, which means we're going to recap Serie A, Bundesliga, La Liga, and the Prem, all the action from overseas from this weekend. And there's a lot to talk about, Vic. So I know going into the break, we're gonna try to get all the storylines down and figure it all out and get it laid out before we take a break. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let's go to Italy.
Let's do it then to Serie A. Boom, boom.
Oh, yes. I was just having a conversation at lunch about one of my coworkers going to Florence soon. It was just, I was telling him, like, definitely have to have the lampredotto. That's that intestine sandwich that we tried drunkenly after the Fiorentina match. Good stuff, as you know, what I can remember. I told him, if you try it, though, like, definitely be buzzed at least. And then, because I don't want to come back sober. And he's like, "Oh man, that was absolutely disgusting." Like, that's not how you eat that. That's not
it's an experience. Sandwich. It's not just the sandwich.
There you go. Yeah. It's not a sober sandwich. It's an experience sandwich. All right. But anyways, we have some news and notes from around Serie A. So let's jump in. Cesc Fabregas and Como look as if they could qualify for the Champions League, but the club might face stadium issues and UEFA financial fair play issues if they do make it. If Como were to enter the Champions League, it could create significant problems, starting with their stadium, which would require upgrades to be up to code, up to UEFA competition code standards, I guess we can call it. And if that was not completed by September 2026, so if the upgrades are not completed by September 2026, which is 6 months away from now, so probably not, then they do have to play those fixtures at another stadium. And this isn't an entirely new thing in Serie A, because Atalanta had the same problem going into their maiden Champions League campaign. I guess it was maybe 3 years ago now. And they did exactly what Como have done. And they asked Sassuolo to use their stadium. And they do, if they do, in fact, make it. And so Sassuolo does have a nicer, newer stadium. I think it's called Mappai or something like that stadium. And that would be the stadium that they would play their home fixtures in for the Champions League if they were to make it. Not a done deal, but they are setting the pace, and it looks like it's very likely that they get there. But if you've seen all the money that came in for the Champions League runs that Atalanta have, and now they have their great, nice new stadium in Bergamo, it could be the same thing for Como out there on the lake, which would be really, really cool to see if that happens. But another problem that's represented, or that could be presented if they were to make it, would be Como's finances, because the club was picked up post-bankruptcy in Serie D. I don't know the way to pronounce that in Italian, but D in English. And a strong investment followed once they picked that up, and this allowed them to skyrocket and go all the way to Serie A, but also means that they closed the financial year in June 2025 with a loss of 105 million euros, which is absolutely insane. The Calcio e Finanza report that UEFA would give Serie A side some grace for the first season. So they would be allowed to go into the Champions League season with no issues. But if they were to make it any other additional times, they would have to have an agreement of how they're going to balance out the books of that 105 million that they owe to various whatever. It's a loss financial because they spent so much on their players and then the wages and all of that. And so they'd have to show that they're balancing it out, because you can't just go bankrupt in all these leagues. But tell that to Barca, because they seem to always be in that. Anyway, that's the same situation that Aston Villa faced back in 2023 when they made it to the Champions League. So it's, again, nothing new, but just wanted to bring that up because it is looking more increasingly likely that Como do get into the top four. Okay, Vic, that is it for news and notes. Let's jump into the match day.
Let's do it. And that was your headline. So let's go to your No Business Soccer podcast top match for Serie A. And we were in match day 30. And your top match was the league leaders Inter, now dropping points in 3 straight matches as our boys in purple Fiorentina score a late equalizer for a 1-1 draw.
It was a massive point for our Fiorentina as they bounced back from an early goal to split the points. Inter scored in the first 45 seconds of this game, and it felt like the Viola were in for a long day, but they were able to dig deep and gut out a draw, which, Vic, at this point, I mean, we'll take it. Hell, if Moiskin was a split second earlier and I don't even remember what moment it was, but there was a pass that went by him, and the best way to describe it is he did like the splits and almost gets it, but he was I almost said a phrase I used whenever we made music, but he was a hair short. Danny Pete knows exactly what, and he didn't get that goal. A second quicker, and he's there, and we end up winning that one. But either way, it's a tough week for Fiorentina to get into because they draw, and the result is, I mean, I guess you could say bad for the league leaders, good for them. But either way, timing is horrible because all the teams that Fiorentina needed to lose did lose, and they couldn't take advantage by going up 3 points. They can only get that one, which is okay for now. But the other end of the table, Milan win and Inter draw, which means there's only 6 points between them. And I genuinely think that the title race is back on now. And hell, if you look at Napoli, they're only 7 points behind them. So I think it's kind of getting towards the nitty gritty of the season, of course, but man, 7 points, 3 teams. That's a title race right there.
Yes, sir. Like I said in the intro, they're giving them every opportunity to get back into this race. And that is your No Business Soccer podcast top match for Serie A match day 30. We could jump into the rest of the match day. And it started on Friday as Napoli stay in the title race with a 1-0 win against Cagliari.
It's the Conte Napoli special where they struggle against the team they shouldn't, but they win 1-0. Pretty uneventful, but as I mentioned, the 3 points ended up being a massive with Inter dropping points again.
And your second match on Friday was Udinese denying Genoa 3 wins in a row with a 2-0 win on the road.
It's a tough one for Genoa, who were so dominant in the first half and got nothing to show for it, only for Udinese to storm back for 2 goals in the second and stun the home crowd in Genoa.
We then move to Saturday as Cremonese get their first win in 2026, 2-0 against Parma, and it's enough to get them out of the relegation zone.
We talked about in the preview that even though Cremonese were in a free fall, the final 9 matches set up nicely for them to get out of the relegation zone in the bottom 3 if they could just get some points in some form somewhere. And they do that here with a 2-0 win over Parma. Jamie Vardy, he hits a great assist. And if you watch it back, I mean, I didn't even know he had it in him. This was a great run, great assist. Cremonese win 2-0.
And then Saturday continues with Milan doing their part to bounce back and close the gap up top with a 3-2 win against Torino.
Milan moved closer to Inter at the top of the table with a 5-goal thriller. Really, Torino's goal was one was a penalty and the other one was a scrappy putback from a keeper spilling. But either way, Milan were the better team and deserved the win. But check out the first goal if you haven't seen it from Milan. Pavlovic, he hits the ball and it's absolutely insane. Pavlovic being a center back, I mean, he hits it. He looks like he's, one of the best midfielders in the world, except you see the smirk on his face and you know, like, he just hit it. He wasn't trying to do that. He's just trying to get it on target, and he absolutely did. It was a great goal.
And next up was Juve dropping much-needed points for Champions League qualification places with a 1-1 draw against Sassuolo.
just when you think that Juve are getting out of their funk, they just prove us wrong again and again. Juve and Sassuolo in deadlock at one apiece, but Juve got a penalty for a handball in the 86th minute of this game, and Locatelli hit it straight to the keeper, and they dropped points again. I mean, it was just a sad day if you're a Juve fan.
And Saturday ended with your No Business Soccer Podcast official belt to ass match as Como continue their incredible run with a 5-0 domination of Pisa.
I can't think of a more perfect way to end a match if you're Como. It's 5-0, 5 different goal scorers, including their golden generation of Diao, Duvicas, and Nico Paz. And once again, they continue to set the pace for the top 4 in Serie A. Great game. I mean, I guess we're going to say the end of the season. We'll find out how it goes. I need to look at their last 8 games, like who they have. We'll check that out here in a second when we go to the table. But man, Como is they're on fire right now.
We then move to Sunday as the AT Aliens Atalanta break their 3-game winless streak at the expense of the lowly Verona squad 1-0.
Atalanta had to grind it out, but they got the win and 3 points. But by far the best play in the game was the defensive stop from Jean-Daniel Akpo for Verona. I hope I said that right, because that felt good coming out, right? But either way, I mean, this is the one I sent you, Vic. Dude sprints back from deep in the midfield to stop a shot that's for sure going into an open net for Atalanta. The pass, I mean, it was so good. It deleted everyone except for our boy JDAA. And I don't know if he's going to make another play like that in his lifetime, but either way, we have that highlight.
And our next match was Lazio, making it 3 wins in a row with a 2-0 win against Bologna, and they leapfrog Bologna in the table.
Our Lazio now have 3 straight wins and are cruising up the table, which seemed impossible just a couple of weeks ago. Our boy Orsolini missed a penalty. They had a handful of chances, but Bologna was not the better team out there. And Lazio, they deserved this win.
Next up is Roma. Getting back on the winning track as they hand Lecce their 2nd straight loss, 1-0.
Lecce made it tough for Roma at home, but they find a way through for the 3 points, and the goal comes from 19-year-old Robinho Vaz, who gets his first goal for Roma since joining back in January from, I think it was Lyon. But either way, good on the 19-year-old, and good for Roma to get some points and stop their little funk as well.
And your Sunday and also match day 30 ended with your No Business Soccer Podcast top matchup. That was Fiorentina and Inter. We already talked about that. So we can go to the table after match day 30. As you can see on top, you still have Inter. They have 69 points. Nice. They are followed by AC Milan. I just call them Inter Milan. I'm going to piss off a lot of people. AC Milan or just Milan. They have 63 points. Again, closing that gap. And as you can see, Inter have dropped points in the last 3 matches. So yeah, the race is heating up into near the end of the season. Going to be fun. And the other team throwing their name in the hat for the championship is Napoli. They have 62 points. And then rounding out our top 4 is the surging Como with a dominant win. Your No Business Soccer Podcast official belt to ass match previously. They have 57 points, closing in on the gap and making sure they make these Champions League spots. And then tickling the top 4. Welcome back, Juve. They have 54 points. And in that Europa League spot. So let's take a look at the bottom of the table. As you can see, the Milkman with their loss now into the relegation zone. They were leapfrogged by Cremonese. They are joined with Elis Verona and Pisa, who both have 18 points apiece. Both have been pretty much the same exact team all season long. It's been pretty crazy to see how just matching they are at the bottom for the past like 3 months. I think they've been like that. So pretty crazy, but they're in the 19th and 20th spot respectively. And things heating up for that last 18th spot of relegation. It's going to be fun.
Well, I just pulled up the Como schedule while you were doing the table. And I mean, honestly, I think maybe they drop points in 2 games, the rest of these 8, at least the way that they're playing now. They have Udinese, which they should get max points from. Inter, which, okay, that maybe they lose that one. That's fine. Sassuolo, Genoa, those should be wins. Napoli, maybe you drop points there too. But then you end the season, the final 3 games, Hellas Verona, Parma, Cremonese. I mean, come on. They should, if the other teams were going to pass them, they would have had to already, because that is a nice run in to the Champions League spots for the, I don't know what to call them now. We need a different name, because Como, it's fine, but like, Gotta have a nickname for them. I'll think of that. I'll think on it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into it. We'll look into it.
Okay. That is it for Serie A. Anything else? I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Well, let's move it along then. Let's take the train to the next stop, and it gets off in Germany.
Let's do it to Bundesliga.
Okay, I got my news and notes up here.
Do you know the term white dog when it comes to whiskey?
No. What? No.
White dog.
Oh, do you know the term up dog?
No, it's not. What's up, dog?
Sorry.
So stupid. Anyway, white dog is whenever they first distill the stuff and it tastes like grains, literally grains. There's no like vanilla. That's kind of like what this tastes like. I'm sorry. I just wanted to give you some more notes. It's kind of the reason why I'm drinking so much of it. It's really good.
So it has less flavor and you like it because it tastes less
more
flavorful. Oh,
more flavor. More like the mash bill that it was made from.
Well, I've smelled mash before and it does not smell good. So I can imagine it doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
But mash for beer, not for whiskey. I don't know if it's the same.
Anyway. No, it doesn't get much better. No, you're good.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, speaking of alcohol, I went to Schultz Beer Garden here in Austin, Texas, and had me a couple of Hefeweizens. Actually, I asked for Helles because that's our thing. We drink Helles since we went over there, and that's what they drank. But either way, they were out, so that sucked. But anyway, hope you see this, Schultz, and fill up that keg for me next time. Anyway, that's a very niche story that nobody cares about. So let's move on to news and notes from around the Bundesliga.
I was gonna say we wasted people's time. We're sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, if they were going, maybe they wanted the Helles at Schultz. Either way, following Köln's 3-3 home draw with Borussia Mönchengladbach on Saturday, Thomas Kessler, their sporting director, Thomas Kessler, their sporting director, decided to part with head coach Lukas Kwasniak. So in other words, they sacked their coach. Cologne slumped badly through the winter and now into the spring, and this draw with Gladbach was their 7th game without a win and leaves Cologne in 15th in the 18-team table in the Bundesliga and 2 points above the relegation playoff spot. And we'll see more around who's around them when we get to the end of this match day and we look at the table. But either way, not a good showing for Kwasniak. If you actually look at the games, they haven't been blown out. It's been a loss by a goal here. I mean, most of them are 1-goal losses, and you really think like in 1-goal games, anything could happen. It just continuously doesn't happen for these guys. I think they said that they've only won once in the last 11 games, which, I mean, it's pretty bad, I guess. But for a team that's newly promoted, they seem like they're going to be able to make it out. And then they sacked this coach. So maybe they won't know. I don't know. Either way, I felt like online it was a bit mixed where people felt kind of the same way what I'm talking about. Where like the results weren't there, but the performances were. And I know that doesn't count whenever it comes to the table and relegation. Like you can be as pretty as you want on the field, but if you don't have wins to show for it, then you don't stay in the Bundesliga. That's fair. All I'm saying is that 1-goal losses can be flipped really quick, and now they're not going to get the chance to. Depends on who they bring in, but either way, hopefully they get that new coach bounce because we're only, I think everywhere is 8 games until the end of the season. So yeah, if they're going to be staying up, they're going to need that new bounce to happen sooner rather than later. And that's, it's a couple of teams across Europe that need that right now. So that is it for your news and notes for around Bundesliga.
All right, those are your top headlines. Now let's go to your top match of Bundesliga Matchday 27. And your top matchup turned out to also be one of your No Business Soccer podcast certified belt-to-ass matchups as Leipzig belt meet Hoffenheim's ass as Leipzig get the 5-0 win against Hoffenheim. Our previous Can It Be number 3s as they now become our Trying to Survive number 5s.
I was wondering what you were going to do. And yeah, that was nice, sir. That was nice.
Pretty good, right?
But Going into this match, though, we called this one a spot legitimacy test for Hoffenheim, and they failed that test miserably and proved a bunch of us right when we said that it was very cool that they were in the top four for this long in the season, but at some point we all knew that they were going to fall off, and not necessarily. I mean, that sounds so bad, but it's just because their recent track record, didn't show that they were going to be that good for the whole season. And Leipzig showed up. It was 4-0 by halftime. And so I guess the fact that it was only 5-0 by the end of the game, you can call that a good thing. But either way, Leipzig were able to jump on Hoffenheim from the shoot. And they're now in the top four, now primed to enter the Champions League after all that's happened to them this season. And if you think about coming into this season for Leipzig, they were down and out. They fired their long-standing manager. They sold their best players, and now they're back in the top four like nothing ever happened. And if they stay there, I mean, that's a good on you, Leipzig, because I didn't see it happening this year.
And that's your top matchup for Bundesliga Matchday 27. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the match day. The match day started on Friday with your No Business Soccer podcast top matchup that we just talked about, Leipzig and Hoffenheim. So let's go straight to Saturday. And did it hit the ground running as Köln and Borussia Mönchengladbach put on a show, but split the points with a 3-3 draw.
It ends all equal in the Rhine Derby in a 6-goal thriller. The way they were going at it exactly from the start, with 4 goals being scored in the first 20 minutes of this game, just tells you how much this derby means to them, and it was insanity. But definitely a much-needed point for Cologne. But, I say that, and then they sacked the coach. So maybe they were expecting a lot more from this. It is what it is. But either way, great match.
We then go to the Battle of the Green Shields, and this one went the way of the visitors, Werder Bremen, as they get the 1-0 win over Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg lose this 6-pointer, and it puts Bremen in a great position to stay up while Wolves stay on the hot seat, and is getting very, very close to the end for Wolfsburg. And we talked about it. I think it was a couple weeks ago. We were talking about how Volkswagen might not have their best interest, the soccer club's best interest, and they might not be able to make it if they get relegated because of the lack of funds that could be coming their way. I don't know if that's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't happen. But either way, Wolfsburg are looking like they're going to find out very, very soon.
Next up was Bayern doing Bayern things as they get a decisive 4-0 win over Union Berlin.
Crazy to say this about a 4-0 win, but Bayern could have easily won this by 2 or 3 goals more, with Olise missing 2 great chances. But it was just a vintage Bayern Munich against insert Bundesliga opponent match, 4-0 Union Berlin. I mean, tough outing, but Bayern, they might be the best team in the world right now.
And then Saturday continued with Heidenheim putting up a fight with a 3-3 draw against Bayer Leverkusen, who are now seeing Champions League placement slip from their grasp.
Even if Double H are going down, I know that all the fans enjoyed this one. They had no business drawing with Leverkusen, no business, and scoring 3 goals in the process. It's disappointing for Leverkusen, who've now drawn 4 of the last 5 games in the Bundesliga. And as Vic mentioned, they're just letting all of Europe slip through their grasp. And maybe they deserve it for the way that they've kind of run things recently. I mean, of course, they lost Xavi and a lot of the best players like Wirtz. But either way, just the fall off is massive, and it's not cool. How about that?
And Saturday ended with Borussia Dortmund staging a late comeback with a 3-2 win against Hamburg.
Hamburg choke away a 2-goal lead in this game to fall to Dortmund 3-2. They were up 2-0 going into the 75th minute, and they still lost this game 3-2. Let me say that again. They were up 2-0 going into the 75th minute of a 90-minute match, and they still lost. Granted, it was an 88th minute penalty for a handball that did them in, but still, it's good stuff from Dortmund to complete the comeback. But man, that's got to be a gut punch for Hamburg.
We then move to Sunday, as Mainz continue their impressive run of form with a 2-1 win against Eintracht Frankfurt.
Mainz get an 88th minute winner to take 3 points from the Rhine-Main Derby. It was a sneaky good game and puts Mainz in the driver's seat to stay up next season.
And then Sunday continued with Freiburg denying St. Pauli's bid to escape the relegation zone as Freiburg get a 2-1 win.
St. Pauli scored in the first half, but the second half was all the Black Forest boys, and it was a brace from the former St. Pauli youth, Igor Matanovic, and that rubs salt in the wound of this loss because St. Pauli really needed the points.
And your match day 27 ends the way it began, with another No Business Soccer podcast certified belt to ass match as Stuttgart get the 5-2 stomping of Augsburg.
And damn, this game made me very sad that Stuttgart are no longer in the Europa League, because the way they played, they looked like prime Barca out there. Beautiful passing, slick play. Augsburg couldn't get near anyone with the ball for VfB Stuttgart, and they still were able to score twice. But it feels like VfB are definitely one of the top 4 clubs in the Bundesliga, and it might end that way come May. But man, that defense is just not good enough to keep them in. I mean, they still won this game, but this is the reason why they lost against Porto in the Europa League.
And those are your Bundesliga match day 27 matches. Let's take a look at the table. Don't really need to look at that number 1 spot, as of course it's Bayern Munich. They have 70 points. They're 9 points clear of the number 2s. The best of the rest, as we call them, Borussia Dortmund. They have 61 points. 8 points behind them is now Stuttgart, like you said a little while ago. I don't know why I put so much like rolling on Stuttgart. Yeah, Stuttgart.
Oh boy, he's feeling it.
Next game, right? They're the number 3 spot. They have 53 points. And then rounding out our top 4 is Leipzig with 50 points. And then tickling our top 4 now is Hoffenheim. Went from our can to be number 3s, like I said, to the trying to survive number 5s. Pretty poor run of form recently, but let's see if they can turn that around. And teams that definitely need to turn around, if we take a look at the bottom of the table, you'll see St. Pauli. They have 24 points in the playoff or the relegation playoff zone there in the 16th spot. They are followed by Wolfsburg, who have 21 points in the 17th spot, and Heidenheim holding up the rest of the table, a solid foundation with 15 points. Heidenheim need to get it together. Double H. We're going to not be able to say Double H anymore.
They're definitely down. They're definitely down. I mean, there's no way that they can come back from this, especially the way they've been playing. I thought they were going to get relegated last season. I mean, and they almost did. They had to win the playoff to stay in, but either way, I think it's about time. Put that cow out to pasture.
Yeah, either that or there are some Heidenheim fans that are like really excited now because maybe you did the opposite of a curse. Maybe you cursed them to.
Oh, I see what's going on here. I mean,
you just assured they would not be relegated.
First off, it's not a thing. There's no such thing as a curse
100%
from me. So, it is, that's whatever. But second, I hope there are a lot of Heidenheim fans that want to see their team because, I'm a hurting fan of a team that might be going down this year. And the only thing I can look forward to is that, man, if we do go down next year, we'll be able to win a lot more games. You know what I mean? And I forget what that feels like. So maybe that's positive for Heidenheim.
Still, yet to be seen, but we'll find out.
Enough crying here. Let's do it. Let's move on to the next train. And I think it's taking off. Yep, it's taking off now, Vic, and it's going to be landing. Dang it, that's a plane. It's going to be stopping in Spain.
La Liga. Trains are landing.
Dad stuff. Try to do goofy dad stuff, and I'm just like, not on my game right now. I don't know why. Trains landing. Come on, boys. We do have some news and notes for La Liga, and the top headline for this past weekend is the fact that Antoine Griezmann is coming to the MLS. And that's your World Cup winning and Atletico Madrid star, Antoine Griezmann. He is leaving Spain, as he announced. He's heading over to the States and specifically Orlando to play for Orlando City. He's 35 now, and even though his best years are behind him, the man is still banging in goals and assists for Atleti and is still a big part of their current Champions League run. It'll be really cool to see him in action over here in the States. And I know just from following him, he's a very big man of the U.S. sports culture. Like, he's always hanging out with NFL players and specifically basketball players. I mean, the dude loves a lot of the sports here in the States. So I'm sure he's going to be very excited to be over here, except Orlando. Oh, they do have the Magic, right? Is that still a team, Danny P? You tell me. I'm not a big basketball guy. I'm assuming that's there still. Yeah, it's still, there's no way that the Magic isn't a team. They're like, yeah, you idiots. Of course it is. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's why he's happy. There's a team that he can get season tickets for and go to all the time. So
I didn't.
Either way,
yeah, we don't play Orlando this year.
We play them. We don't.
No.
Oh, wah wah.
Damn.
Well,
I
we'll
didn't
see
even
him
look
next
at that
season.
whenever that was announced. Because he joins in July. He's going to finish the season out, and then he'll join in July for Orlando.
But it's crazy because if let's say that
Damn.
he ends up making a very long run in the Champions League with Atleti. The season ends in May or whatever, and then like I think the final is like the beginning of June. Let's say if they do make it, you're telling me he's going to come to he won't be playing until like September. I mean, there's no way he's going to get through a full season and be like, all right, I'm not going to take a break. I'm just going to go straight into this. Maybe he does. Maybe I don't know, but
I mean, he's also got to like acclimate to the climate in Orlando, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Hot, right?
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
it's definitely
saying.
gonna be hot.
He's going to come over from Spain in the perfect weather over there, playing a full year's worth of games in front of him, and then he's like, all right, let me just jump into this next season. What I'm trying to say is I have a feeling he won't be around until way later, if really not just like starting to come in towards the tail end of the MLS season. But maybe Antoine Griezmann's like, screw that. I want to play ball. He's also not a starter right now anyway, so it's like he's coming off the bench for some minutes, but yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see him though. He's one of my favorites. He's been for a while. He's followed his action.
I'm looking at their schedule starting from August. They don't even have like a real interesting schedule. Like they don't play Miami or they don't play LAFC. We don't play them obviously. They play Philadelphia twice, but yeah, it's just a bunch of
who cares about them?
Yeah.
Who cares about Philadelphia?
See how that works out.
All right. Okay. Well, that is your news and notes, Vic.
Those are your No Business Soccer Podcast top headlines. Let's go to your No Business Soccer Podcast top matches for La Liga Matchday 2029. And your first match was Villarreal, dashing early hopes of European competition places for Real Sociedad as Villarreal get the 3-1 win. Gee, that's hard to bring out right now. I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to tell you, it's probably your third glass of whiskey that you've had. All right, look, all I can say about this game is that whatever Materazzo had planned or set up for coming into this game absolutely did not work right out of the gate. La Real were under pressure from Villarreal, who scored their 3 goals in the first 23 minutes of this game. After that, and after halftime, they must have had some changes because it looked much more even as far as a game of football is concerned, and their defense wasn't getting torn apart. But the damage was done. Villarreal played like this for the majority of the season outside of a couple of months, and they're really starting to show, I guess they're starting to be back into form is the best way to put it, because there was a couple of months where they were very bad. There's no better way to put it. They were just horrible for a while, but then they bookend it with really good performances, and they're on the top 4, probably going to be in the Champions League again. I thought coming in that Real Sociedad could take some points from this game, and Hype Man Vic promptly let me know that I was stupid because he sent me the score at halftime, and it was 3-0, and then he put the breakdown in the notes. It was like curse of death or kiss of death or whatever the hell. One of y'all said that.
Yeah.
You got me cussing on here. Anyway.
Sorry.
It's not true. It's not true.
Yeah, it definitely is. And your second match was worth the hype with the Madrid derby producing again as Real Madrid get the win 3-2 against Atleti.
Real Madrid had to earn this win because Atleti gave them just about everything that they could handle. Atleti got the scoring started through Ademola Lookman to give Atleti a 1-0 lead at the half. Vinny Jr. buries a penalty early in the second half to level the game, and then Fede Valverde continues his superhuman run, and he ends up getting a goal for the Los Blancos and giving them the lead. But the best goal of the game comes from Molina for Atleti, who hits a boner ball, as Hype Man Vic would call it, from outside the box at an angle, and it hits the top corner. Unbelievable shot, but 67 minutes on the clock, and there was plenty of time for Los Blancos to come back and do exactly what they did. Vinny Jr. makes his presence felt one more time with a quick curling shot in the 72nd minute to secure the win and all 3 points, and Los Blancos stay in the title race. We said prior to the game that anything less than 3 points would be absolutely devastating, as it would pretty much signal the end of the title race in La Liga and hand the title to Barcelona. But hell of a match. Los Blancos, they grind it out, they tough it out, and it was probably the best they've looked since the matches that they've played against Manchester City recently. I mean, before that in La Liga, they weren't doing well. And now look at them, Vic. They're just tearing it up. And there's still a Clásico, I believe. I'm pretty sure that Clásico coming up. So, oh, man, it's getting to the nitty gritty. It's going to be fun.
And those are your top matches. No business soccer top. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. It's also, I don't know if I'll call this out right now. It's also 125 proof. You can see it down there, which means it's 62% alcohol. So, yeah. Let me try that again. Those were no business. Yeah. Soccer podcast top matches for La Liga match day 29. Let's get into the rest of the match day. And it started on Friday with your no business soccer podcast top matchup. That was Villarreal and Real Sociedad. We talked about that. So we move to Saturday as Elche in their skid and climb out of the relegation zone as they get the 2-1 win against Mallorca, who now enter the relegation zone.
And this was a very good game. But before I talk about it, there's a Clásico on May 10th. So I don't know what match day that is, but that's getting to the end of the season for sure. So, yeah, could be very, very interesting. Ooh. Okay, Elche and Mallorca. Elche take 3 points in the 6-pointer, and they look good. But really, this is all on Mallorca's star man, Medici, or Midiki, however you say. I think it's Medici. Either way, he missed a sitter, as the British would call it, a sitter. But they would go on to get a penalty in stoppage time. And he skies the penalty. It goes right into the crowd, and that could have leveled it. Either way, brutal game. But if you're Mallorca, you put the ball in your best player's hands, and he just wasn't on it that day. And what are you going to do? You lost the game because of it. It is what it is. Elche get a much deserved win because the way they've been playing recently, they should have won a lot more. It just didn't happen. And they get one here.
And just for your notes, snooze, that is match day 35 of 38. That May 10th.
Oh, nice.
Yes, sir. Next up was Getafe, adding to the misery that is Espanyol football with the 2-1 win at Espanyol.
Espanyol is so bad right now. Brutal loss at home for Espanyol as they scored 2 goals in the first half, but they were both called off for offside. And of course, I mean, it doesn't matter how offside you are, you're offside. It is what it is. But what makes it worse is that Getafe get 2 goals in first half stoppage time. So they score 2, Espanyol scores 2, they get called off. And then in stoppage time of the first half, Getafe gets there too, basically puts the tie away after that. But are you really surprised, though? Espanyol have been absolutely terrible. Getafe have been beating random teams that they shouldn't be beating. Not to say that Espanyol is one of them, but either way, it's a good result for Getafe, and the misery, as you mentioned, piled on for Espanyol.
And Saturday continued with one of the more entertaining relegation battles of the year as Levante get the 4-2 win against Real Oviedo.
The small glimmer of hope for Oviedo is gone after this. At least the game was entertaining AF, though. AF. There were 4 goals in the first half alone, but the 2 goals Oviedo gave away in the second half were just sloppy, silly mistakes for a team that's going down. I mean, it makes sense, but either way, I feel like it should have been more level if for not those mistakes. Real Oviedo, I mean, they're going down now. We'll see the table, but I feel like it's okay to say that they're going down.
And our next matchup was really hard for me to find anything of significance to say about it, so Osasuna win 1-0.
Great time for Osasuna to get a win as teams they needed to lose, they did. And of course, it's our boy Anta Budimir who gets the late header to take all 3 points.
And then Saturday ended with Valencia continuing to finish strong as they get the 2-0 win on the road against Sevilla.
Valencia get 3 huge points on the road, and it puts Sevilla in danger of the drop at this point of the season. And I personally think it's all down to Valencia wearing the kits that I love for them. If you've never seen them, they're like blue sleeves with like red pinstripes and yellow background. It's just the colors are ridiculous. I think it has something to do with Valencia, like the city and their flag. I don't know, something like that. But either way, I love them. I bought one a long time ago, and every time they wear them, they seem to win. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I'm calling it. They love it.
Gotcha. It's a bold take for you to think Valencia's kit has something to do with like the city of Valencia or something like that. I just think that was funny.
Right. Bold take there.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. But then we move to everyone's favorite Sunday as Barcelona in the Rayo Vallecano's unbeaten streak with a 1-0 win to stay atop the league.
Well, Rayo made it much harder than I think we all expected, but either way, Barca get it done by doing their best Arsenal impression and being unable to score from open play, but score from a corner. That's a little shade because, you know, it is what it is. Rayo actually come close to leveling it in the dying moments of the game, but we move on. Barcelona wins 1-0.
And our next match was a firefight as Alaves take another step away from relegation with an incredible comeback as they beat Celta Vigo 4-3.
Celta were up 3-0 in the first half before Alaves got one back in first half stoppage time, and it opened the door for a comeback, even though it looked like they were heading for an ass whooping. But they get 3 unanswered goals in the second half to stun the Celta Vigo home crowd, and it's a 4-3 win, and it was a pretty crazy game. I honestly didn't see that coming.
And then Sunday continued with Athletic Club stopping their skid and adding to their opponents with a 2-1 win against Real Betis.
From the jump, Athletic Club looked ready for this one. You could feel the energy coming from the crowd as well. They were up for it, and they went up 2-0 to prove it. Betis battled back, but it just wasn't their night. It's a great win for Athletic Club, and we called this the Stop the Bleeding match, and they do just that. But Betis have now failed to win any of their last 5 La Liga matches and are on the verge of dropping out of the European places altogether. We said that they were trying to get into that top 4. That's not going to happen anymore. And now they might be staring down the barrel of not being in Europe altogether.
And your match day 29 ended the way it began with your No Business Soccer podcast top matchup. That was the Madrid derby. We talked about that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the table. And as you can see, on top is still Barcelona. They have 73 points. They are 4 points clear of Real Madrid, who have 69 points. Nice. They are followed by Villarreal, who are 11 points behind them with 58 points in the number 3 spot. And then rounding out our top 4 is Atleti with 57 points. And then tickling our top 4, the team we just talked about, Real Betis with 44 points. They are a clear 13 points behind them. And falling fast, not in a great form. The only saving grace they have is Celta Vigo is also not in a great form to catch up with them and take that Europa League spot. But that will be a fight for the remaining 9 games that we have in La Liga. And let's take a look at the bottom of the table with these remaining 9 games. This relegation battle should be pretty fun to watch as Mallorca are in the 18th spot. They have 28 points. They are only 2 points clear of Levante, who are on a streak right now, 4 straight unbeaten. They have 26 points, and then they are followed by Real Oviedo, a solid foundation for La Liga. They're in the 20th spot with 21 points. Not only that, Elche, who just got out of the relegation zone, are still just 1 point clear of the relegation zone in the 17th spot with 29 points. Yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. Who's going to take that last spot? I have no idea. And I wouldn't bet too much on Elche. They got lucky. They got a pretty good win, but they haven't been in a great form either.
It is crazy though, because you see Levante, I mean, they've only lost once in the last 5 matches, but yet they're still so far down. I mean, it just shows you how bad they have been. But I mean, 5 points separating 15th to 19th. That's 6 points to Rayo. It's just, that's going to be very interesting. Not like the top though. There's definitely big gaps towards the top of the table, but the bottom of the table going to be pretty interesting to see how that. Okay, well, looks like we are running. Wow, 50 minutes already. Let's do it. Let's move along to the last stop on this train, and that is in England.
Let's do it then to the Prem.
Okay. Let me adjust this little cable here.
This is not cable
is all
everyone.
Oh yeah, I know. This isn't the
fun
one. We already had the fun ones, and now we got to talk about like serious stuff. So anyway, City news and notes. Sorry for the Premier League. Let's jump into it. I'm already like, let's over this. Whatever. City are your Carabao Cup champions as they beat Arsenal 2-0 with 2 second-half goals from Nico O'Reilly. Historically, this has been a big changing point or charging point for teams that are in the title race and also in the Carabao Cup final. And remember, City still play Arsenal at the Etihad in late April in the Prem. The points gap is still pretty big, but things just got much more interesting after Arsenal bottle another final. I love it. Mo Salah announced that he will be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season, despite signing a 2-year extension back in April of 2025. He's had a massive drop-off in form from this last season, and if you recall, he almost left back then, but decided to stay. He did awesome. They won the league. I feel like he should have left at that point, but either way, he comes back. It's a down year for the whole squad, really. Not a big deal. I'm not going to keep harping on it, but either way, he's fun to watch. At his peak, it was some of the best footballing we've seen in a while. And I mean, this guy is just incredible. Fun to watch. I mean, specifically last season, we could just watch highlights of that. I know you can for sure and just reminisce. And that sounded way like more like, oh yeah, this season sucks. That's not what I meant at all. I just meant that he was really good last season is all I was trying to say, Vic. And I know we didn't even talk to you about this being part of the news and notes. So have you had a chance to, process this?
Yeah, a little bit. I saw it earlier, and I mean, it's probably the right move. Salah has not looked he's looked like a shell of himself probably since like maybe 8 to 9 weeks left of last season. He hasn't had the touch he's had. He hasn't been able to get past defenders the way he used to be, which, I mean, still, you want to see him in a red kit. It's what you want to see him in, and we would love to see him in a red kit. But I think if he wants to leave, and, he signed a 2-year contract, so hopefully Liverpool can get some money out of this, and he doesn't pull a TAA, like a little backstabbing son of a... Okay, I'll stop. Sorry. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Let's have him do that, help out the team. And it was good to have him, and I wish him all the best. And I gotta say, there's a team that has an international spot open. I don't know, MLS.
Yeah, exactly. Like Danny P just said, what about a green and black kid? That'd be pretty nice too. That'd be pretty nice too.
That'd be we have one spot open.
There has to be something in like the works already that they just can't announce because he's under contract. And I'm guessing, I don't know. Because it's weird that they would announce it now with this many games left in the season, that he's going to be gone for the next season, even though he has a contract. So there has to be something. I've always heard rumors that he was going to the Saudi League because, he'll be a Muslim star, paid ridiculous amounts of money. That dude's going to live like a king, which he is, the Egyptian king. So fitting into his reign.
That's probably
even though he could come to Austin. He could come to Austin. That'd be cool.
I wouldn't mind that. That would be pretty cool.
Well, I don't want to dwell anymore because we have a lot of bad news to talk about, and we're already almost at an hour. So let's just knock this out, Vic. How about that?
Let's do it. Those are your top headlines for Premier League Matchday 31. Let's talk about your top matches, your No Business Soccer podcast. Top matches for Premier League Matchday 31. And we start with your No Business Soccer podcast. Oh, yeah. No Business Soccer podcast top matchup for Premier League. Your top matchup was Tottenham, continuing their boycott of 2026 wins as they get handled 3-0 by Nottingham Forest.
All right. You had to say all that. That was ridiculous. What I will say is that I almost took this off of the top matches section because it's just embarrassing. But I was like, I feel like Vic would be like, what a coward. Your team, you put them there, like talk about it. And so I did. I left it. We're going to talk about it here. This was easily...
Real quick, before you go into this, I thought you might do that. I was going to say it was a top matchup anyway. So I was going to make you talk about it. But I thought you were going to do that. Yeah.
I'm manning up. We're going to talk about it in an island spot here. Okay. This is easily one of the most embarrassing losses of the season so far. And that's saying a lot because there have been plenty to be embarrassed about this season. If you're a Tottenham Hotspur supporter, fan, whatever you want to call them. But a draw at Anfield, a win over Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, you could feel the spirits and the atmosphere and the buzz around the changing room starting to change. And the club, everybody as a whole, everything felt just a little bit more secure. Like, okay, we're going to do this. Very optimistic, very confident going into this match against Forest. And Forest have been equally as bad as Spurs. Well, I say equally. They've been worse than Spurs. And it just felt like this was time. They had to do it. Like I mentioned in the preview, this is one of the biggest matches in recent history because it's a 6-pointer. It's two teams that are right next to each other. And Spurs, it was incredible. It was just incredible in the worst ways. Let me just put it that way, because it looked like from the beginning of the game that it was all Spurs. It looked like Forest hadn't even gotten off the bus. Spurs were incredible, but they just couldn't score. And I was thinking, like, man, we're not going to score here. Then they're going to get us back one before halftime. It's going to make everybody in the stadium like just deflated, and that's how it's happened all season. And they couldn't find the breakthrough, and that's exactly what happened. And I think it was going into the first half stoppage time. Forrest gets a goal, and it sucks the energy right out of the stadium. It's exactly what's happened to us all season. It wasn't surprising to see it happen, but even then, I thought, okay. That we are used to this. This can happen. Spurs can come back from this. And the fight and desire, it all collapsed right then and there. And that's how they get blown out at home over and over and over by a team that's at the bottom of the table, no doubt. But even Burnley and Wolves have shown fight more fight than Spurs, and they're already going to be relegated. The most embarrassing thing about this is the fact that, I don't know if you've seen it, Vic, but there was the ultras or the supporters, whatever you want to call them, prior to the game, they organized a huge gathering. There was like 15 to 20,000 people outside of the stadium. They were popping flares and smoke and everything while the bus was coming in. It looked like it was a final, and they were doing this all to show support. Like, hey, this is not great times, but we're with you, and let's fight and let's do it. And I mean, they had music, they had fans, they had everything that you need to help a team get onto the pitch and make something happen. And then they flamed out horrendously. The scenes before the match looked like they just won the Europa League Cup again, and it meant absolutely nothing. No fire, nothing happened in the hearts of those players. And it's a joke. I mean, it's not, we're going down and it's fine. I mean, at this point, I'm already starting to look at, like I mentioned, do I have the way to watch the championship? I mean, I was making the joke earlier. I'm excited to watch us win again week after week, and maybe that has to happen in the championship. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we get our ass kicked there too. Anyway, it's very, very sad, and I'm trying to talk and laugh through the pain. It's not fun, but I will say this: the jokes that made me laugh, because again, if you see the scenes, it's like Tottenham's coming down, everybody's parading around, people hanging from lampposts like, let's get it, baby. And then someone just posted and said, did Tottenham just throw a relegation parade? and I died laughing. Like, man, it's the first time in my life I've seen someone throw a relegation parade. And it's so sad and so stupid, but it's all we can do is laugh right now, Vic.
Unfortunate. Sorry, Snooze. We had a small violin. I would play it right now. Sorry. But that was your No Business Soccer Podcast top matchup for Premier League Match Day 31. Let's go ahead and skip past this pain and get into the rest of the match day. Don't trust me, there's some more pain. But it started on Friday as Bournemouth now have an impressive 5 straight draws as they draw 2-2 with Manchester United.
This match really kicked off in the second half, where it was 0-0 until United scored a penalty in the 61st minute. And then it was a goal for Bournemouth, another goal for United, and finally a late foul in the box gets Maguire sent off, and the Cherries level it to split the points late. It's a good game overall, but I would say Michael Carrick, it's towards the end of the season, he's got to turn these into wins, because he might not be there if he continues to drop points like this. I mean, he has to get to the Champions League is what I'm assuming, but I mean, I don't know. Bournemouth just weren't the team that I felt like Manchester United would drop points to, and they did.
Speaking of maybe not being there next season, we then move to Saturday as Brighton make it double-digit losses for Liverpool for the first time since 2016 with a 2-1 win.
It baffles me that Liverpool won the league last year, spent $500 million on players to improve their squad, and they are worse defensively and offensively than they ever were last season. This could have been much worse of a scoreline for Liverpool if Brighton had a bit more luck. Brighton, they were playing like they were, I mean, Barca. It was insane to see them out there. Danny Welbeck scores again, and he or the assist, I can't remember. Either way, he gets into the England squad for these friendlies coming up, and I mean, it's just all good vibes for Brighton fans, Danny Welbeck fans, whatever you want to call them. But Vic, I have to ask though, because we talked about it last year, and I don't know if this is the proper forum to discuss it, but either way, I have to ask the question. I said all of the accolades, all the things that Slot was getting last season, he did that with Klopp's team. And then you were like, no, things are changing, blah, blah, blah. Do we still think that Slot is the coach and that he was playing with Klopp's team? Or do we think it's just like it's okay, the team's slumping because of player stuff? Like, what do we think is the problem?
I mean, it's got to be that he was playing with Klopp. I mean, he's bought a half of a whole new ass team. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be it. And honestly, I mean, we're still in Champions League. We're still fighting for stuff. We're still could be in Champions League next year. But I think just because, like you said, we spent $500 million on a team. We've made all these signings. We've done all this to help improve this team for Arne Slot. And we just nosedive, not terribly, but for the standards that we set for that, dude, I can't see him here continuously for a long period of time.
Now,
like
you say that, but they are going to win the Champions League, and then he has to stay.
He'll be back. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'll take back all of this immediately. No, I think that's his job. That's got to be for his job, honestly. Because it's inexcusable. Inexcusable.
my take on it though is that for a guy that came in to win the league, yes, we could all say the cliche that it was Klopp's team, like I just did, but either way, he did it in his first run. I don't think you can sack a coach because he wins it one year and doesn't win it the next. Like that just seems like it's way too harsh. Maybe the standards are different in Liverpool, and that's why I'm a Spurs fan. But either way, it feels like there's no way that you could just sack a guy after just winning the league, especially if he wins the league or he won the league, he doesn't win it the next year, but then gets into, I don't know, you're at least in the quarterfinals, maybe the semis or the final of the Champions League. There's no way. There's no way.
Maybe he'll stay around for another year, but it's not just that. It's just the outlook. Like we've looked like a good team maybe 2 weeks in a row tops. We've not looked like a good team at all. Like we've never put a continuous stretch where we were like, oh, Arne Slot signed these players. He knows what he's doing. And like we've had like 8 to 9 weeks of good play. It's not happening. Even to begin, whenever we beat Arsenal and we were number 1 for a while, like we barely won. We were barely getting some last minute shots. And so it hasn't been an impressive look. It's just that with the firepower that we already have, like it's been getting us by. But yeah, we should be up there fighting, or actually above Arsenal, fighting to get to the Premier League title again. So I don't know.
It is. It's interesting because I remember last season there was a lot of like last minute wins and things like that. And this season, there have been a couple on to begin the season. There was the same thing, right? Last minute winners, things like that. It was just, maybe that's just how they're built, the champions. Mm-hmm. But now that they're not happening, it's like, oh, wait, was that all that they had? Was that the only way that they could win these games? And it feels like that right now. But I mean, either way, if he wins the next round in the Champions League, I can't remember who do y'all play? Is it?
We play PSG. PSG.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, all right. Yeah, maybe we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Even getting to the quarterfinals is a big deal. But if they can get through PSG, I mean, come on. There's zero chance that he gets sacked this season, in my opinion.
Maybe, but also, and I've told you guys this a couple of times throughout the year. Like I can't count on us to score more than 1 goal. Like if they score a goal, like we're not winning. Like it's just the way it's been all year. But
which is ridiculous. Ekitike, Salah, Verts, Szoboszlai,
we had him.
Gakpo. Like I mean, it's so stupid. It is so stupid that you can't. But it is. We are here, and this is the reality.
Sorry,
Liverpool
everyone.
Just can't score.
Not a Liverpool
Spurs are going down.
Yeah. But we have some pain in our hearts to get out, you guys.
All right. Yeah. Let's move on.
All right. Well, we go on, and our Saturday continued with Fulham adding more misery to Burnley supporters with a 3-1 win.
Yes, that is the game we're going to talk about, as I just clicked off of the score. Actually, there we go. I mean, it keeps jumping around. I don't know. It's like no one cares about the Prem anymore. It is what it is. But if you do, Burnley tried all they could for a team that's already been relegated, but Fulham were too much over the full 90 minutes. Harry Wilson gets back on the score sheet and continues his breakout season, and it's 3 points for Fulham at Craven Cottage.
And our next matchup, now I just did the same thing. Next up was Everton, producing one of their best performances of the season with a 3-0 win against the visiting Chelsea.
And you know what? I'm happy for our boy Danny P, because Everton are absolutely killing it right now. Chelsea are in full freefall mode now after they went out of the Champions League and back-to-back losses in the Prem. There's already questions being asked about Liam Rossinha, and it's not looking good as Everton tore through them very easy. And they made it look easy. I just said that twice. Anyway, they made it look easy as they tore through them. I mean, the entire game. I remember the game ended, and Danny P was like, I know y'all saw that score. Y'all just aren't saying anything. And I saw it was like 2-0 at one point. I think maybe it was 2-0 at halftime. But either way, I didn't expect it to stay that way, and it didn't. I mean, it was 3-0 at the end of it. So way to go, Everton. And it was at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, too. I know they've not fared well there in the first season, but this is one of the staple wins that they have.
And Saturday ended with some results that didn't really help anyone, as Leeds and Brentford draw 0-0.
It's a 0-0, but Leeds got a valuable point in the relegation battle because of the of the results that I told you earlier. But either way, I feel like if Leeds continue to draw, they're going to stay in this battle. But ultimately, I think it's going to come down to Spurs and West Ham anyway.
And then we move to Domingo, as Sunderland get their better of their rivals with a 2-1 late win against Newcastle.
And it was a hell of a Tyne-Wear derby with the visitors Sunderland getting the win at St. James's Park with apostrophe. Don't go to the other one. But either way, thanks to a late go-ahead goal by Brian Brobby, who seems to have that clutch gene in him in most of the big games they're playing. This is a big result away from home for the Black Cats as it really is turning this Newcastle season into nothingness. And to pour salt in the wound, Sunderland now jumps Newcastle in the table, and it is just turmoil on Tyne's side, is what they call it. Something like that. Turmoil for the tune. How about that?
I like it. And then Sunday continued with Aston Villa stopping their four-game winless streak with a 2-0 win against West Ham United, and that keeps West Ham in the relegation zone. But more importantly, to Snooze and the vibes of the podcast anyway, keeps Tottenham out of the relegation zone.
That's what I'm talking about. I really wasn't sure which way this would go because coming in, Villa had lost 3 straight, and West Ham, they weren't in much better form, but they were playing better, and they felt like they were playing their way out of the bottom 3. But Aston Villa were so good in this game and dominated from start to finish. West Ham played like a team at the bottom of the table, and it was bad timing for the loss because of the Spurs implosion. But either way, I'm very, very happy that it happened.
And then Sunday and your Matchday 31 ended with your other No Business Soccer podcast top matchup. That was Tottenham, or your only No Business Soccer podcast top matchup. That was Tottenham and Nottingham Forest. We already talked about that. And of course, your other match is Manchester City and Crystal Palace. That was postponed due to Manchester winning the Carabao Cup this Sunday. We're still waiting for a rescheduled date, so we will let you know when that happens. Let's go ahead and go to the table as you still have the Gunners up top. Maybe, hopefully, Arsenal are on top. There they are. They have 70 points. They're 9 points clear of Manchester City, like we just said. But Manchester City does have a game in hand. They have 61 points in the number 2 spot. They're followed by the other Manchester. Huh?
So what the hell is that face down there?
I forgot to take that off.
What the hell is that face? It's bullshit.
I was playing with that, and we'll get down there. I'm sorry. We went to Manchester United in the 3 spot with 55 points, and then rounding out our top 4 is Aston Villa with 54 points, and then taking our top 4 are your Reds in the Europa League spot with 49 points. And if we look at the bottom of the table, I honestly forgot to remove this. I forgot that was there. But as you see, West Ham United are still in the relegation zone. This is so funny. I didn't mean to do that. West Ham United are still in the relegation zone. They have 29 points. They're followed by Burnley with 20 points in the 19th spot. And then, of course, Wolverhampton Wanderers, even though they've been in a great form as of late, they have 17 points, still holding up the rest of the table. And then just 1 point of relegation, getting precariously close.
Why do you have to say that? No, nobody says that. We never talk about that's bullshit.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. They have 30 points in a pretty bad form there. Getting again precariously close to relegation.
Yeah, we're good.
Sorry, I'm totally sorry. I really did forget to remove that. I had a few different faces, and I couldn't. All right. I see how it is. Oh, I'm crying. That's hilarious.
When we stay up, I'm gonna be dancing on your grave. How about that?
You should. It's all right. Oh, my bad.
When we stay up, that's so horrible. Like when we don't get relegated, I'm gonna show you. Oh, it's so bad. Okay, we're getting drunk here. Let's get out of here. DJ, play our music. Vic, stop laughing and take us home.
Thank you everyone for spending some time out of your day talking about some European football. Everyone be sure to like and subscribe on all of our social medias. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast except for TikTok, except for Twitter. That is at No Biz Soc Pod. Guys, we're going to be off this coming weekend as there are no Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A match days, but we will be back very soon to talk to you again. Everyone cheers, and again we will talk to you